Hi everyone, today we will learn about Modic changes. This is a very common question asked in ward rounds as well as in FRCS Vivas. Before we start, can you answer 5 Viva questions? What are Modic changes? And which Modic type is strongestly associated with back pain? Which Modic type represents the fatty marrow replacement? What are MRI appearances of type 1, 2, and 3? And what is the pathological progression from type 1 to type 3? Okay, so we'll see in the end whether you are able to answer these 5 questions. That's all that you need to answer for the Modic changes. So what happens is, the, what happens is with increasing age and with some other things, there is a disc degeneration can happen. And what happens with the disc degeneration, because there is a disc height is decreased, so there is more pressure on the end plates, and that can lead to end plate microfractures, and that lead to inflammatory reaction at the end plates. So that gives back pain, and there is edema at the end plates. And then over time what happens is fat will replace the end plates tissue, and over time the bone sclerosis will happen at that place. So what we will see on the MRI. So on MRI, this is Modic type 1, where we said that there is the inflammation happens, and the patient will feel back pain. And on MRI, what we will see, because of the edema, there is increased amount of water. And how we know what is the appearance of water in MRI sequences? On T1 and T2, it is like CSF, that it is on T1 it is black, and on T2 it is bright. So it is black and bright like CSF. Okay, so this is easy to remember like this. And then the Modic type 2, so over time this edema is replaced by the fat, and we know the how the fatty tissue looks on various MRI sequences. On T1 and T2, fat is bright. Okay, so this is the most common type. So whenever you see an MRI, if you see that it is bright on both, then you will come to know that it is. And you can see this is the subcutaneous fat, which is bright on both, and here fat is bright on both. Okay, and the next one is when it is replaced by the thick bone, then we call it sclerosis. And so then again, how is the appearance of the bone in MRI sequences? You can see the bone is dark in T1 and T2 sequences, that we know. And because even the small fatty tissue is replaced by bone, that's why it is black, because of this calcified bone. And what and then we'll come to know what are the answers of our first all these questions. What are the Modic changes? That we have vertebral end plate and marrow changes secondary to disc degeneration. Which type is most painful? Type 1, because there is inflammation, and inflammation lead to more water, that is T1 dark and T2 bright. Which type represents fatty replacement? It is type 2, most common type. MRI appearances that we have learned, and how does it progress? First inflammation replaced by with fat, then bone, and we can remember water, fat, and bone. So final FRCS memory line is Modic type 1 hurts, yeah, because of inflammation. 2 stores fat, and 3 turns to stone. Thank you. That was all about the Modic change.